Hello F1 Universe and welcome to the Formula 1 Paddock Pass podcast. My name is F1 Luke Sam and with me I have the two co-hosts F1 Hannah and F1 Carlo. We are three unique individuals who share love for the same sport, Formula 1. Firstly, we'd like to apologise for not putting out an episode last week. Not that you guys noticed. But we are back better than ever to give you our honest Baku recap. Carlo's been advised to bring some tissues after Ferrari's disaster. Then come with us to Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal, where we will give our predictions. And stick around because Hannah has some very exciting news. So, without further ado, get your passes out and let's enter the paddock. Paddock pass accepted. Please enjoy this episode.
So guys, it's good to be back. Ooh. So
We are so leaving that in.
I might even clip that.
No, you're
Okay.
right. It is good to be Baku.
So Baku as a whole. Very interesting Grand Prix for some, very good ones for others. How do you guys feel it went?
Luke?
As a McLaren fan, I would firstly like to say I'm very disappointed in the way the team was managed over the weekend of Baku. My favourite track of the year, and it's left a bit of a sour taste in my mouth. I was watching it on Twitch and I was kind of bitching and moaning the whole time about McLaren. In terms of a Grand Prix, if I was to rate it out of 10, I don't let myself say 7, so I have to choose 6 or 8. I'm going to say a 6. Partially because of Baku's recent races. But in the grand scheme of things, it wasn't that bad. People were saying it's boring. It wasn't that bad. What about you, Hannah?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly thought it was quite a good race. I feel like because we have such high expectations for Baku's always a great race. It is my favourite track on the calendar, I think. I did have high expectations. And even though they weren't met, I still thought it was enjoyable. With like all the DNFs, Ferrari double DNF, it was just like I had no idea what was going to happen next. And yeah, I mean, obviously it was a great weekend for Red Bull. Really wanted Perez to get that win, but you know, back-to-back wins in Baku for Perez could have been on the cards, but it wasn't. I thought it was a good race. I enjoyed it. I did.
Yeah. No, it's true. I seen Luke, you bring out the hat especially for this week as well.
Yes, this is on purpose. I'm wearing Danny Rick's merch on purpose.
Talking about back-to-back, Hannah, Charles Leclerc did get back-to-back poles in Baku this year, and I think was one of the greatest qualifying laps we've seen in a couple years. I must add, I actually saw your TikTok, Luke. Your reaction to it, you're like, whoa. And I was like, yeah. I had the same reaction.
Fast.
I think I said this on one of the previous episodes. Put them all in the same car, qualifying. I would put my money on Charles because when he can grip a lap together, he can put a lap together.
Incredible.
It was at one time he got to sector 2, he was like 5 temps up. I was like, no way, this man is different breeds. And then I watched back,
I remember.
I watched back the video where Karun Chandok was like analysing the lap. He was level with Perez and like Max and Sainz, but then when he got through the castle section, he just gained like 3 temps because he just sent it. Whilst everyone else was like a bit scared, he just sent it through them couple of corners and then put in a lap of the year.
Is Leclerc
maybe
becoming Mr. Saturday?
Mr. Saturday, yeah, he is Mr. Saturday. But then
I saw the stat that was so funny. It was like, I think I made a TikTok about it, but it was like, Verstappen has got more wins from Leclerc poles than Leclerc has got from Leclerc poles.
It's sad.
That's not a good stat.
No.
But the thing is, this year, it's not even been his fault, it's been Ferrari's fault themselves. Like, what more can he do? He's trying to do his race and then boom, the engine blows up, or the engine blows up again in Spain. Like, he can't do anything.
Yeah, I was going to say that they're quick over one lap, and we'll give him that, but their car on a Sunday is a different story. Even though it's not reliable is point number one, but point number two, Red Bull just look like they're quicker over a race distance. I know when Carlos went off, I thought he used the runoff because he made a mistake, and I kind of
me too.
made a little bit of fun of him. So sorry, Carlos, big fan of the podcast. I apologise for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, 4 out of 6 Ferrari engines this week didn't finish the race. Very, very concerning.
I need a word for Mattia Bonotto. And the thing is, he's like a engineer as well. Like, he's team principal where he used to be an engineer, so that should be the most reliable thing about the car.
Mattia,
like,
if you're listening,
don't know what's going on. If you're listening, I know you're a big fan. This is Carlos saying, work on it, mate, because otherwise I'll be after you. Alright,
DM me.
Yeah, DM me, because it's been like an 80-point swing to Verstappen over Leclerc in the past 4 races. I thought that Red Bull might win the championship, but because they've just built a faster car over the season, I didn't think Ferrari will just bottle it and just chuck it away, because that's how it is right now. It gets to a Sunday, and deep down Charles probably going to go to Canada now, and he might be first, but every lap he's thinking, my car could blow up right now, and that's not what you want. You need to have faith and trust in your car that you'll make it to the end. So yeah, it's very,
exactly
very
right.
disappointing.
Speaking of Sunday, Mr. Sunday back at it with a podium. George Russell.
Yes.
What a drive. George Russell is doing the perfect thing. They've got the third fastest car, and the top 2 teams are they're in another country. That's how quick they are. He's doing the perfect thing. He's waiting for misfortune to happen in front of him, and he's just picking up those points, and it's got him P4 in the championship as well.
And even like the fact that you're saying he's like the 3rd fastest car, surely that means then that the best he can possibly get if there's no DNS is 5th, and he's consistently got that or higher for every single race. It's
this
like
is
unbelievably incredible. It's like, I can't believe it, and I don't know how long this streak's gonna last, but I'm all for it.
It's like his qualifying streak where he always out-qualified his teammates since his like debut. Everyone was like, I never want it to end. Now it's the top 5 streak. No one wants it to end at all.
No, he's definitely in form. But one thing Mercedes are they've got a little ethics question right now. Do we sacrifice performance at the safety of our drivers, or do we sacrifice the safety of our drivers for performance? What do you? What if you were Toto Wolff, this sexy, handsome beast? What would you do?
Well, the thing is, I feel like they can't continue. I think it's obvious that they can't continue with this issue. I mean, you saw Hamilton getting out of that car last race.
Yeah.
He was in so much pain.
He's 37, don't forget.
I know, and it's ridiculous. And even, I think Danny Rick experienced porpoising for like the first time, and he was like, I get what these people are going on about. It's hard. I can't even imagine like the conditions that they're in. I mean, even watching their on board, and you hear they go like dun 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 dun, it's like it looks painful. Like it, I don't know how they do it. Literally,
it's like whack-a-mole.
I know. Yeah. And so, I mean, it's obvious that it has to get sorted out and fixed, but it's like, I don't know, how do they do it but not lose?
Yeah, they were saying that FIA might have to step in, because at the end of the day, they're there for safety. There is another ethics question for them, though. If they put a minimum ride height or something along the lines of that, it's Red Bull and Ferrari, bottom line, they're not going to be happy, because they've found a way to negate porpoising or deal with it and still get the best performance. I saw one of Tomo's videos on YouTube, extremely good videos, called Porpoising, It's Over, and he put it out to Twitter, and then he gave what he would do. Pretty much he said, let them porpoise, it's fine, but the FIA should introduce a maximum amount of G-force that your car can porpoise. So sometimes Mercedes are getting up to 6 Gs, which means 6 times your body weight, which is unreal. If they make it 2 Gs, Red Bull don't have to change much, because they're already getting under 2 Gs and there's no minimum ride height. But Mercedes are going to have to dial back their performance for the safety of their drivers, which I think that's reasonable.
Yeah, it's a really interesting video, and yeah, like you said, I just feel like they need to fix it. It's just obviously it's more complicated than that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Did you guys see what Christian Horner said?
No.
Yes.
He said, if I was Mercedes, I'd be overreacting and going over the top about it as well, so that the rules can change quicker. Because he's pretty much saying Mercedes are now making it an even bigger thing, so they're overreacting about the porpoising, so that the FIA have to intervene and have to like make the ride height higher or stuff like that, so that it brings Red Bull and Ferrari closer to them. So that's what Christian Horner is saying. So I have a strong feeling if this goes to a debate, Red Bull will have their army back at it, defend them for their lives, making sure that Mercedes don't get any advantage.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good game plan. Lewis is going to be acting in a movie, won't he? So it's good practice. One thing I want to speak about before we throw it over to you, Hannah, is McLaren. And in my latest video on YouTube, I did speak about this. I touched on it just a little bit. I wasn't happy with the treatment of Daniel Ricciardo. To me, McLaren, I'm a big fan of them, but they made it very clear where their priorities are. And I understand it's with Lando Norris, younger, probably going to be with the team longer, but Daniel's given up so much the last year and a half and had to sort of swallow his pride, let Lando through, watch him get good results while he figures out this car. Come a time where he figures out the car and has more pace than Lando, he's told to stay behind. Now, their reasoning was Lando's trying to overcut Alonso, which is, at the time I said, fair enough, I understand, he's trying to overtake someone in the pits. But to see Lando pit and come out 6 seconds behind Alonso feels like they kept Daniel caged.
Yeah.
And then the fact...
It was like an excuse.
Yeah, it was an excuse just to keep him behind. And then when the shoe's on the other foot in stint number 2, Lando's given the option to push up. And if he could push up, then he would be able to overtake Daniel. But he kept bitching and moaning over the team radio, but he never closed up. So I have a little bit of a bone to pick with McLaren and Lando Norris. Big fans, by the way. Big fans. I should preface that.
Fans of the podcast.
Big fans of the podcast. I should preface that and say that I'm a fan at the end of the day, and I like what they're doing. But last week,
I agree. It reminds me a lot of when Verstappen first came to like Red Bull, and how they like kept on slowly putting the balls into like Verstappen's basket, and then they're taking them out of like Ricciardo's basket. Like right now you can see they're putting it all into like Lando Norris's basket, and like little things like that you'll see in like a year's time, they'll just add up, keep on adding up, and then you'll just see it will be straight. Lando is the first driver, Ricciardo is the second driver. And now it will even be to the case of if they are the same speeds and going like, I don't know, 4th and 5th in a race, they are just going to choose Lando over Ricciardo, which is the sad thing. Unless Ricciardo is like 2 tenths, 3 tenths quicker than Lando, like they're always going to like choose him over him. So I don't know with Ricciardo, maybe he needs to look for a new team next year. I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
There's a couple options. I've done my own research and some self-reflection, one would call it, and there were a couple options for Daniel. I won't get into this. Maybe we can get into it next week. But I think that IndyCar would be a really, really good fit for him, seeing that he loves racing in the US. Why not just put him in IndyCar? Swap him with Paddy O'Ward if he has enough super license points, or Colton Herta from IndyCar, which less likely, seeing that Andretti Racing is going to be a team in the next couple of years. He'll probably go there. If he doesn't go IndyCar, he could have a driver swap with Pierre Gasly, go to AlphaTauri. He could also go to Alfa Romeo. He was once linked with Ferrari and replace Zhou. He could even go to Haas and replace Mick Schumacher. So there are options for him. It's just whether a team is going to want him.
It's True.
Yeah, especially after him being on the back foot for the last 2 years.
Yeah,
It's like people are obviously discussing whether his time is up. I would not like it to be, of course, but you know, people are talking about that, so it's like whether teams would want to bring someone on that seems to be on their way out.
Yeah.
Yeah. You never know. He could do a swap with Sebastian Vettel and join Aston Martin Racing F1
I would
team.
love that.
Yes, that would be cool. Speaking of Hannah.
Yeah, so really exciting next couple of weeks for me. I'm going to be at the British Grand Prix as a guest of Aston Martin. Woo! So yeah, that'll be really, really exciting. And yeah, I feel like talking about it now with like all of you amazing people that follow me on TikTok, it's like I want you guys to tell me what you want to see on my account over the weekend. I'm going to be in the paddock on Thursday, and then on Saturday I'm at the Aston Martin HQ over the road for a lawn event that they're hosting. So anything from the grandstands, from the paddock, from the event, your ideas I would really appreciate, because I want you guys to enjoy this weekend as much as possible through me.
So we've lost Hannah, unfortunately. Her mic's given up like a Ferrari engine.
Like the Ferrari engine, I was about to say that.
So we won't be hearing from her, but I think it cut out just before she said she's going to need your help in video ideas for Silverstone. So she is going to be your eyes and ears in the paddock on Thursday and at a very fancy event on Saturday with Aston Martin F1. So keep an eye out for that. Flood her DMs with videos that you want to see, both YouTube. She's putting her thumbs up, both YouTube and TikTok. Yeah. Speaking of Aston Martin, how do you think they're gonna do in Canada, Carlo?
Canada. Well, last time we went to Canada, the certain Aston Martin racing driver, Sebastian Vettel, had a big controversial moments with the FIA and Lewis Hamilton back in 2019, which kind of broke the internet at the time. I remember live watching it, screaming at my TV because the FIA just made the worst decision, and then the whole of Twitter. Like, imagine if we had TikTok back then. Like, you would have got minimum 1 million views on every video you've done about Canada, because it just blew up. Because Canada always throws an exciting race. That's why F1 drivers love going there. Like, if you remember the 2011 Grand Prix when Jenson Button went to the pits like 5 times. There's like a 4-hour Grand Prix as well.
Oh, I've rewatched that. Yeah.
Yeah, and he wins the race on the last lap. Like, that's what Canada brings. It brings craziness. So yeah, I'm very hopeful because we haven't been there in a long time, and I want to see a good race. Who do you think will do well, Luke?
I've got something to admit. I've never watched a Canadian Grand Prix. Neither has Hannah. So, well, live. I've never seen one live.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have heard it's a lot like Baku. I love the circuit, and I'm really excited to watch it. But if it's going to be the same as Baku, I think the Red Bulls will be very, very strong.
Yeah, because it's a lot of like top speed, straight line speeds,
just high speed corners.
And if Red Bull bring their like Miami package or whatever race, Imola, where they were just like 10 kilometers an hour faster in a straight line speed than anyone else, then they will do well here in Canada, because it's just long straight, couple chicanes, long straight, couple chicanes, long straight, hairpin, long straight. That's what it is. So yeah,
it's true. Do we think anyone's going to end up in the Wall of Champions?
Well, Verstappen, surely it's his year now. He's a champion now. He has to hit it. Like, he needs to replicate every other champion there's been to just hit the barrier.
Q3, final lap, purple, into the Wall of Champions.
Wall of Champions. To be fair, if he does it, like, no one will be that shocked, because it's like
tradition.
Fate. It's meant to be. It's meant to be. So, yeah.
It's like, first you need to have a good season, then win the championship, then hit the Wall of Champions, and then
hit the wall.
That's the 3P.
Yeah. Or maybe during the race, him and Leclerc are going side by side into the chicane, Leclerc just gives him little elbow bars, snapping into the wall. See you later, mate.
See you later. And then he has
Drives
to pull over 200 meters up the road because his engine stops.
Doesn't even make it to the finish line. Because I think if you want an early prediction, an early Canadian Grand Prix prediction, I see this race how I saw Silverstone last year, where last year Hamilton was 33 points behind Verstappen, and then he said, right now I am going to win this race, and he said, I'm not giving anything in, I'm not going to leave the door open or let Verstappen try and like bully me out of positions. Then you saw what happened with Hamilton and Verstappen when they went round Copse Corner, and then boom, they just blew up. So I can see it this weekend. Leclerc, he will be like, he has to win this race.
Yeah.
So I have a sneaky feeling maybe him and Verstappen might have their first actual
Is that going to be
coming
your big
together
call?
this weekend. Yeah, that's going to be my big call this weekend, of Verstappen Leclerc incident.
Incident.
It's a little incident.
To be fair, I although I can see that happening, I think Max is racing Charles a little bit different to how he raced Lewis last year.
Yeah.
So we could see him just pull out or give more room.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah,
not pull
I think
out.
he'll give more room.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll pull out. I think he'll give more room.
Pull out
But
game
I can
weak.
see Leclerc, because in my head, like, I see Leclerc as a level aggressive driver as Verstappen. Before, like, compared to Hamilton, Hamilton's like not aggressive at all. He just uses his brain.
He's clever, yeah. He's clever and
Yeah,
he's clean.
where Leclerc and Verstappen is just like all out dogfight. Like they'll start swinging at each other. So
Yeah.
I can see a little coming together. That's all I'm gonna say.
Interesting.
Kinda good this
Does that
weekend.
tie into any podium predictions?
Yeah, I'm actually backing. Like, I know this was gonna be Carlo, Ferrari. They'll just retire. The engine will blow up. But I have a sneaky feeling that they'll do well this weekend, and they'll do actually very well with a 1-2.
Ooh.
That's what I'm thinking, and I'm only saying this because of previous history at the track. 2019, Vettel rightfully won and then got robbed. 2018, Vettel did win. 2017, I think
Maybe an Aston
Hamilton
Martin
won.
1-2.
Yeah, you never know. But yeah, Hamilton. I think Hamilton won, but Vettel did like a great comeback because he had to change his front wing on the first lap.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's a Ferrari track. That's what I'm trying to say. So
Who's first?
I have a sneaky feeling we'll do well there. So with a Ferrari 1-2, and then Verstappen in the wall, Perez third. That's what I'm saying.
Ooh. So is that Charles P1 or Carlos?
Yeah, Charles.
Charles.
Ferrari. If Sainz is first going into the last corner, they'll be like, "Wait, mate, the big guy's coming through. Just hold up." So yeah, that's
Interesting.
what I'm thinking.
I'm gonna need a fact check on this, but I'm pretty sure every time you've said Ferrari 1-2s, a disaster has happened. So if there's a disaster
Spain.
this weekend,
Spain. I said Ferrari 1-2, and it was looking so good.
Bernardo's gonna be on the phone to you after this week and say, "Mate, you're gonna have to stop predicting us for a 1-2."
Last week I put Max P1, and then he wins the race. So it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah.
In terms of predictions for myself, going off Red Bull's dominance last week, again, I'm just going off what I saw last week, and knowing that it's a very similar track, I've gone P3 Perez, P2 Charles, P1 Max. Max is going to take the dub, and if I'm saying a big call, I might lose friends over this. I think that George Russell is going to fall outside of the top 5 for the first time this year. P6 or lower. It'll be shattering,
No.
I know, but like going off Baku.
Yeah, you have to give us more. Why? Why will he fill out the top 5? Will he hit into Hamilton? Like,
Ooh, no. Actually, I'll change that. I think he'll finish outside of the top 5 because Hamilton will finish in front of him.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, for the first time in a long time, Hamilton will finish in front of him.
Yeah.
Fair
Exciting.
points.
Hannah, I don't know how we're going to do this. What are your
You can message
predictions?
into the. You can message into the chat, maybe. Oh, okay.
Oh, it's there. Ooh. Alright. Alright, you read P3, I'll read P2, you read P1, how's that? And then I'll do the big call.
Hannah puts in P3 the 7-time world champion Lewis Hamilton.
Hannah's put in P2 Lance Stroll. No, I'm kidding. Charles Leclerc.
And in P1 Mick Schumacher. No.
Oh my god!
She's put the Dutch army, the Dutch king right now, Max Verstappen.
With a big call of Sainz and Perez crash. Dun dun
Ooh.
dun! The battle of the two
I love how she
drivers.
puts crash in general, so if they crash in practice one, it still counts.
If they touch walls, touch tires, then it's a crash.
Yeah.
Love
So,
that.
yeah.
Well, I'm really excited for Canada. My first and Hannah's
too.
first ever Canadian Grand Prix live. It's at a ridiculous time here as well.
I was just about to say, what time is it for you?
So it's a 6 a.m. quali and a 4 a.m. race.
Ooh.
It's going to be a tough one.
Ooh.
And before quali, I've got a 21st. So I don't know if I'll be in a state to wake up at 6. If I get to
I'll be
sleep by
honest
then.
though, qualifying in Canada is normally a banger. So like, you can't really miss it.
Good to know. I'll have to wake
You
up.
can't really, it's normally a banger, be real.
Alright, so it's compulsory. Yes, got it.
Yeah. And there's some qualifyings you can just like skip because like you can just watch it back on highlights. But Canada is normally a good one.
Canada's one to watch. Noted. Thank you
Yeah.
for your wisdom. In saying that wraps up this week's episode. Thank you for listening. You can find us on Patreon, where we've got all the bonus episodes. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Follow our personal TikTok accounts, F1 Hannah, F1 Carlo, and F1 Luke Sam. From myself and on behalf of Hannah and Carlo, thank you for listening to this week's episode. We will catch you after Canada and before Silverstone. Take care, guys. Bye.
See ya.